Before anyone understood how serious it was, the signs were already there. They weren't hidden, they weren't subtle, they were seen, they were heard, they were reported, and still, nothing changed. Because in cases like this, the most disturbing part isn't what happened at the end, it's how many chances there were to stop it before it ever got there. In a quiet neighborhood, everything looked normal from the outside, a house like any other, people coming and going, no loud chaos, no obvious danger, the kind of place where nothing extreme is supposed to happen. But inside that home, something was already very wrong. A young boy was trying to survive in a situation no child should ever have to understand, and the people around him were starting to notice. Teachers were among the first. It didn't happen all at once, it never does. It starts with small things, changes in behavior, silence where there used to be energy, fear where there used to be comfort. He began coming to school differently, not just physically, but emotionally, withdrawn, quiet, careful, as if he was constantly trying not to make a mistake. And when teachers asked simple questions, the answers didn't always make sense, not because he didn't understand the questions, but because he was trying to say something without saying too much. That kind of behavior stands out, especially when it keeps happening. Then came the physical signs, marks that couldn't easily be explained, injuries that didn't match normal childhood accidents, and explanations that felt rehearsed or incomplete. At that point, concern turns into action. Reports were made, calls were placed, the system was notified, and that's where most people assume things change. Because when something is reported, someone steps in, someone investigates, someone protects. But in this case, that process didn't work the way it was supposed to. Instead of urgency, there was hesitation. Instead of intervention, there were delays. Instead of protection, there were assumptions. And while those decisions were being made, the situation inside that home was getting worse, much worse. The boy wasn't just showing signs anymore. He was trying to tell people, in the only way he knew how, through small comments, through behavior, through moments that didn't last long, but meant everything. Because when a child feels unsafe, they don't always say it directly, they show it. And if no one fully listens, those signals get missed, over and over again. There were moments where adults came close to understanding, moments where something didn't feel right, but each time, it stopped just short of real action. And that's what makes this case different. It wasn't invisible, it wasn't hidden from the world, it was seen, by multiple people, at different times, in different ways, but no single moment was treated as urgent enough. And without urgency, nothing changes. As time went on, the boy's condition didn't improve. It declined. Physically, emotionally, mentally. And yet, from the outside, life continued. People went to work. Neighbors carried on with their routines. The house remained just another house on the street. Because the truth is, you can live right next to something like this and never fully understand what's happening inside, unless someone stops it, unless someone pushes hard enough, unless someone refuses to ignore what they're seeing. And in this case, no one pushed far enough, not at the right time, not when it mattered most. And that's where the story begins to shift. Because eventually, the signs become too severe to ignore, the behavior becomes too different to explain away, the situation becomes too obvious to dismiss. But by the time that happens, you're no longer trying to prevent something, you're trying to understand what has already gone too far. And that is exactly where this case was heading, toward a moment where everything would finally be seen clearly, but far too late. By the time concerns were first reported, this should have been the moment everything changed. It should have been the point where the situation stopped, where someone stepped in, where protection replaced uncertainty. But instead, it became the beginning of a pattern of hesitation, a pattern of missed opportunities, a pattern where each warning was acknowledged, but not acted on strongly enough. Reports had been made, teachers had documented what they saw, concerns were passed along, the system was aware. And yet, awareness alone isn't protection, because awareness without urgency doesn't stop anything. When officials first looked into the situation, they didn't see what the child was living through every day. They saw fragments, moments, pieces of information that, on their own, didn't seem extreme enough. And that's one of the most dangerous parts of cases like this, because when you only see pieces, it's easy to underestimate underestimate the whole. A bruise can be explained, behavior changes can be dismissed, silence can be misunderstood, and when each sign is viewed separately, the reality gets lost. Instead of connecting the dots, they stayed disconnected. Each report handled as its own situation, each concern treated as temporary, each visit ending without real intervention. And every time that happened, the situation inside the home continued exactly as it was. But from the child's perspective, something else was happening. Every time someone came close to helping and then left, it reinforced one thing: that nothing was going to change, that no matter what was seen, no matter what was said, he was still going to be there. And that realization changes everything, because eventually you stop trying to explain, you stop trying to speak, you adapt, you become quieter, more careful, more aware of every movement, every word, every reaction around you. And that's exactly what started to happen. At school, the changes became more noticeable, not just in behavior, but in presence. He wasn't just quiet anymore, he was withdrawn, detached, as if he was somewhere else even when he was physically there. Teachers could feel it, that something deeper was wrong, but feeling something isn't the same as proving it. And without clear, undeniable evidence, action stalled again. At the same time, the environment at home became more controlled, more restrictive, more unpredictable, the kind of place where you never know what will trigger a reaction. And when that happens, everything becomes about survival. Not comfort, not normal childhood behavior, just survival. And survival changes everything. It changes how you move, how you speak, how you think. It teaches you to read the room constantly, to anticipate what might happen next, to avoid anything that could make things worse. And for a child, that kind of pressure is something no one around them can fully see, unless they're paying very close attention. But even when attention was there, action still didn't follow. More reports, more concerns, more moments where someone came close to stepping in, but each time, it stopped just short. And this is where the system itself begins to play a role, because systems are built on thresholds, on levels of evidence, on rules that determine when action is justified. And sometimes, those thresholds are too high. Sometimes, the situation has to become extreme before intervention happens. And in this case, it was becoming extreme, but not fast enough to trigger immediate action. And that delay was everything, because while decisions were being made, while reports were being reviewed, while people were trying to determine what was enough, the reality inside that home was escalating, gradually, consistently, and quietly, until it reached a point where the signs were no longer subtle, they were undeniable. Physical condition declining, behavior becoming more alarming, the gap between what was being seen and what was being done becoming impossible to ignore. And still, it didn't stop, not in time. By the time everything finally came to a stop, it didn't feel sudden. It felt inevitable, like something that had been building for a long time, finally reaching the point where it couldn't be hidden anymore. Because the truth is, nothing about this happened overnight. Every warning sign, every report, every moment someone hesitated, led directly to this point. And when that moment finally arrived, it wasn't quiet, it wasn't subtle, it was undeniable. The kind of moment that forces everyone to stop and realize what had been happening all along. Authorities returned, but this time, it wasn't just another check. Something had changed, something serious enough to shift everything from concern to reality. Inside that home, there was no longer any question, no more uncertainty, only the truth. And the truth was far worse than anyone had allowed themselves to believe. Everything that had been suspected was real, and by the time it was fully understood, it was too late to change anything. That's the part that stays with people, not just what happened, but how long it had been happening, how many chances there were to stop it, how many moments existed where one decision could have changed everything, but didn't. And now, everyone was left with the same question: how did it get this far? Because when you look back, the signs were everywhere, seen, reported, noticed, but never treated with the urgency they deserved. And when urgency is missing, time keeps moving. And when time keeps moving, situations like this don't stay the same. They get worse, until they reach a point where nothing can reverse them. And that's exactly what happened here, because the most disturbing part of all of this isn't just the outcome, it's how close it came to being different. Subscribe to Forgotten Evidence, Buried Truths, because sometimes the truth isn't buried, it's just ignored.